What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. I thought it was only appropriate that we started the stream with Eddie on the background. Not quite Eddie and Nketiah, Eddie Murphy, but you know, it was a coming to America, the Prince of Zamunda kind of performance from Eddie yesterday. And Eddie, you know what? I got to start off the stream. I got to hold my hands up because you know what? I was very, very harsh on Eddie at half-time yesterday. You know, 6 weeks of no Arsenal game and we're losing. And, I was very harsh on him. And in the second half, you know what, to be fair, he turned it around. He played well. His goal was brilliant. And you know what? He needs us to support him. So I got to go easy on him, to be fair. Am I convinced by him? No, I'm not still fully convinced by him. I still think Arsenal need to go and sign a striker. I'm not going to hide from that. But you know what? Let's give the guy a chance. And his goal record when he started is actually pretty good for Arsenal. Even though that was his first Premier League goal of the season, he hasn't really started this season. So I'm going to give him his flowers for yesterday. He has to keep it going. So big him up. You know, no, I'm not going to lie. I was on panic mode. Do you know what I mean? My hopes and dreams of winning the title felt like they was disappearing from me at half-time. And yeah. But anyway, you know, it's a season of goodwill and all that, people. So, you know, we're relaxed now. Woosah settings and all that, people. But big up Eddie. And listen, big up everyone for tuning in today. Big up my brother, Broads. Hercules. He definitely performed like Hercules in the second half. First half was probably more like Professor Clump. But, you know, we got there in the end, people. So big him up, big him up. And Thierry said a lot after the game. If anybody listened to the bit after the game on Amazon, Thierry Henry, he spoke to Arteta, he spoke to Saka as well, had his nice Louis Vuitton jacket on just to show us, you know, that he's the big man. A lot of you was asking for Eddie on the green screen today. I can't lie, I was tempted, but Eddie's got to do a little bit more work to get the green screen. The green screen is a huge privilege on this channel, but I had to go for the man, the legend, Arsene Wenger. I can't lie, and I said this yesterday. I genuinely believe every Arsenal fan growing up, Arsene Wenger was like a father figure to a lot of us, you know, and I got to be honest, seeing him at the stadium yesterday was just like, it felt right. It felt right seeing Arsene at the Emirates and to see the godfather Wenger and the king Thierry Henry. It was literally Arsenal royalty at Arsenal yesterday. And you know what? I'll be honest, I think it was a bit emotional. I saw some people on the screen look quite upset with Arsene Wenger being there. And I think, you know, it's the first time he's been back to the stadium in 4 years since leaving the club. And I saw an interview where Wenger said it hurt too much to go back there. And you know, hearing that from him, it was like, damn, this guy was so emotionally attached to the club. And the way he left was wrong. You know, it wasn't the way that a legend should have left the football club. So I was delighted to see him back, delighted to see him celebrating the goals. The fans were singing his name. I even had to sing his name on here. Like, I had to sing it. And Alexander said, wait, are you saying Arsene isn't my father? I think he's all our fathers in some way as an Arsenal fan. That is for sure. And yeah, like you said, Broads, when he was on the screen, I seen people standing up, singing his name. There's only one Arsene Wenger. He took pictures with the players. An unbelievable moment. For me, I think Arsenal should, in some sort of capacity, have this guy at the football club. I think sometimes you don't want him there on a full-time basis because I don't think you want him to kind of undermine what Mikel Arteta is doing. But he should be an ambassador. He should be doing something, maybe going on the pre-season tours. But for fans, I think it was amazing to see him there. And if you're a young player, what a privilege. So Arsene Wenger, absolute icon of the football club. And as I said yesterday, for me, I want to see the statue outside the stadium. Probably this picture here on my shoulder here would be the ideal picture, lifting that gold Premier League trophy, the only manager in the history to do that. I think that would be the ideal one. Either that or maybe him trying to zip up his jacket. You know, that maybe from a comedy point of view, you do that, but I don't think there's any time for comedy. We'll get him with the gold trophy. So, yeah, get that statue of Wenger at the Emirates. It's definitely overdue now. That is for sure, people. Right, let me slow down the chat because loads of comments coming in. We got loads to talk about today. I want to try and get finished by by 5:30, because I know there's a game on at 5:30, Chelsea, Bournemouth. A lot of you may want to watch that, so I don't want to hold you up, even though I've got no interest in that game, as I think Chelsea will probably win, but it is what it is. 100% understand, yeah, either one or both. I don't mind. He's that much of an icon for me. Give him both. Arsene Wenger, absolute legend. I've got to be honest, Cap saying I never wanted Wenger gone in the way he left. I didn't have the YouTube channel at the time that Arsene Wenger left. So just to give you the context with me, I felt that Wenger, it was time to go when he left. But the way he left, I think, was the wrong way to leave. I think the problem was he was so ingrained in Arsenal, I'm not sure that he would have walked. So it was horrible, you know, seeing him protest and the abuse he got. I, for one, was not a part of that. I always loved Arsene Wenger. He brought me the greatest times as an Arsenal fan, and Tierney and all these greats. But great to see him back. Alexander said we need to see a zipper statue with the gold trophy. But yeah, maybe both. Maybe both, you know. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the game yesterday. A lot of Liverpool fans in the chat very happy about Cody Gakpo. Obviously, he's on his way to Liverpool, £50 million, only 37 million up front. Very good deal financially for them. And a lot of excitement from Liverpool fans. He should have left after the cup final, I agree. Should have gone out on top. You see it with a lot of... I know we're going off topic here, but you see it with a lot of real legendary icons. Growing up, I loved Mike Tyson. I used to stay up all night, 5 o'clock in the morning, for a Mike Tyson fight. Sometimes the fight would be over in 30 seconds. He'd come out, punch someone, knocked out, fight over. By the end of the man's career, this guy was on Channel 5 getting knocked out by Danny Williams because he was desperate for money and bankrupt. And you're like, that's not the way to leave, bro. I think when you're a real icon, you have to leave on top of your game, you know. But anyway, let's move on. Make sure you smash the like for the video. Thank you for the great support yesterday. Brilliant numbers on the stream. And looking forward to the game against Brighton on New Year's Day, people. Let's move on. Let's quickly go over the game yesterday. I have to admit, I'm not going to go over it too much. But we'll just briefly kind of pass over it and quickly maybe do a bit of press conference reaction as well. And then we're going to talk transfers, which is the real headline news, to be honest. So Arsenal beat West Ham 3-1 yesterday. Second half, no Danny Williams slander, said John. No, John, I was hurt, man. I was hurt, bruv. Tyson, for me, was my most exciting boxer of all time. The man ended up on Channel 5 after home and away getting knocked out at 6 o'clock in the afternoon by Danny Williams. It was mad. You know, I didn't even get mad when he bit Holyfield's ear. You know, maybe he was peckish. You got to feed the animal when it's peckish. But the Danny Williams knockout on Channel 5, that hurt me. Lay said, bro, you went mad at halftime. Bro, as I said, for anybody that's just tuned in, I put both hands up. I surrendered at the start of the stream. I was over the top with the criticism of Eddie at halftime, and he proved himself second half. Am I totally convinced by him? I'm still not. But listen, you can turn things around. As I said, Granit Xhaka, I wanted him out of the club for at least 3 years, and he managed to turn it around, or he has turned it around. So Eddie, I'm gonna give you your time. I need to be a little bit more patient with him. But I have to admit, I was very frustrated with that first half. Very frustrated. Dwayne said, red stripe on me, Big C. Bless. Come on, you're gonna stand up if you hate Tottenham. It's only right that I stand up, you know. It's only right. Big up yourself. We get a red stripe, people. No worries. Broad said, oh, I can't believe he's saying this. Broad said, Xhaka is his favourite player right now. Clip that, Ross. Who would have thought you would ever see an Arsenal fan saying those words? He's been immense this season. Pratim said, Eddie suffered PTSD hearing you. Man, do you know what it is? I think what I did, and I'm going to be totally honest. You know me, people. I'm very, I say what I think. I think I was so frustrated with the performance, and I threw the blame on him when it wasn't just him. There were a number of players not performing, so that was unfair to single him out. And listen, whatever question marks I've got of him as a player, he does deserve some time to see where he's at. Do I still... Wow, microphone's disappearing, falling off. It's all mad. And Nketiah said, thanks for the apology. You are forgiven. Even the microphone can't believe what I'm saying into it. It just ran off. But with Eddie, I still think we need a striker. I don't want anybody to think I'm sitting here saying, he's good enough and that's enough. We still have to go and get someone. But he deserves a little more patience, because the reality is he has done all right when he started in the Premier League. Technical difficulty. The mic just dashed itself off the thing. It said, no, I can't even listen to these words. Eddie taking the mick out of Curtis. Right, let's get into the game quickly, people. Let me go through it before my laptop throws itself off the table. It's all mad, people. Right, we won 3-1. Chalk and cheese performance, this for me. First half, slow. Didn't move the ball quick enough. Didn't create enough chances. And I was frustrated. Second half is the reason why we're top of the Premier League. We moved the ball well. I honestly think we play more exciting football than Manchester City. When we're good. That's the key part of what I'm saying. When we're good. When we're good, I think we play more exciting football than Manchester City. Man said your mic tried to kill itself. It couldn't believe what I was saying. When we're good, I think we play more exciting football than City. Like, seriously, Ish, when we cook, like, the chicken's getting jerked, seasoned, everything's going off. The problem is in the first half, we're just boiling it in hot water with no flavour. And that's the problem. But we're exciting. We move the ball quickly. I have to admit, there's a couple of players that I want to talk about today, right? That I need to give some flowers to be honest. I need to give some flowers to a couple of players. One player who I think has been one of our players of the season is Benny Blanco, a.k.a. Benjamin White. Because I'll be honest, I thought this guy was some overhyped Joey Essex with tattoos and a fake suntan when we signed him. Right now, you're looking at one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. And let's be real, he's a centre-back. Reece James was probably the best right-back in the Prem till the injury. But this season, Ben White's probably been the best right-back. And I got to be honest, he's cooking right now. He's cooking. He's absolutely cooking, people. I'm telling you, Joey Essex settings. I was not convinced. I said, how the hell did we go to Brighton, spend 50 million and not sign Basuma and come out with this guy? B-Tech Joey Essex for me. But I tell you what, this ain't no Joey Essex. This is a proper right back right now. No wonder he told Southgate and them, man, I said, Bredgen, move, Bredgen. Move, I'll get the next flight home, little blood clot. Man said, hey, you brought me all the way to Qatar to sit down. Let me fly back to London. I ain't here for a holiday, bro. Let me come out of it. Big up Benny Blanco. What a season he's having, by the way. I loved about him yesterday. Overlapping Saka. Looked like a proper right back. Twisting and turning as well. You see the little Cruyff turn, what he dropped on Cresswell. Needs a lot of respect. I called him Ben Brown at one stage. And you know what that Brown was for, people? I can't lie. Man said Ream settings. No, bro, I'm not capping. I'm telling you. Benjamin. I'm going to call you Benjamin. You've been balling this season. Balling. Let me give him his props. The second props that I got to give props to. Mr. Odegaard. Because I tell you what. When you're playing against a low block, it's like turning up at your front door and you've forgotten the key. You got to find a way to get in. Do you know what I mean? And this guy can pick the locks. He's giving me Mesut Ozil vibes. He's giving me Mesut. Not prime. Don't get carried away. Don't go anywhere. Prime Mesut is different. Remember the celebration, with the M. That Mesut was wild. I can't lie. That Mesut was one of the best number 10s in world football. But let me tell you, this brother Odegaard is balling. And the microphone's running off again. What's going on today? It keeps jumping off the thing. Odegaard is balling. Absolutely balling. He's unlocking the door. He's getting goals. Joint top goal scorer in the Prem. And the nutmeg. Don't get me started. The nutmeg. I mean, he's nutmegging a Brazilian. He took his Brazilian passport away from him and nutmegged him like he was the Brazilian and Paqueta was from Norway. I mean, before we get into the player ratings, I'm going to let you know from now, Odegaard's man of the match. Like, Odegaard is man of the match. Like, it's simple. When you're nutmegging man like that, I'm done. He has been brilliant this season. I don't know what's going off, but he's enjoying it. Maybe the captain's armband has inspired him to greater heights. Greg, thank you very much for the extremely kind donation, my friend. He said, happy holidays to my favourite YouTuber and community. Top of the table, and I feel like sharing the love. Everyone have a wonderful new year, and come on, you Gunners. Really appreciate that, Greg. Obviously, tough times worldwide, people, and to drop $100 in there, very kind of him, man. Really appreciate that, bro. Randy said he reminds me of Guti. You're right. He gives me Guti vibes, them mad little back heels, the twists and turns. I think you got to sit there, and right now, we have to give people their props. Edu, for all the criticism I've had of Edu, and I do think Edu has deserved criticism at times, Martin Odegaard, at £35 million, you got to say that is an absolute bargain of a signing with the way he's performing at the moment. You know, he's 24 years of age, Norwegian captain. This season so far, 13 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. He's contributed 8 goals in the league in just 13 Premier League games this season. If he carries on at that rate, I think you're looking at 12 to 15 goals and maybe 7 or 8 assists, which, you know, if a midfielder contributes 20 goals, is unbelievable. So I have to give credit for that, man. Real big credit for that. Big up everyone, bigging up Greg, man. Listen, anybody who contributes to the channel, whether it's money, whether it's likes, subscribe, really appreciate it. But big up Greg, man. Big donation, especially at tough times for people as well. But now, man, we have to give some credit for Edu. Odegaard is sourcing. The Buendia stream, I have no recollection of that one, Mangis. Damn, you know what? I watched Buendia yesterday playing for Villa. He was stinking out the joint playing for Unai Emery, man. I said, boy, I'm so glad we never signed this guy. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to those two, because 2 players that I have honestly had big question marks over, and they are balling. Let's get through player ratings quickly, people. Lots to talk about. You know the drill. And you know what? I haven't even written the player rating, so it's a freestyle session as we enter the booth, people. No pre-written lyrics. Half-time Curtis was legendary. I mean, I might need Arsenal therapy myself, people. The PTSD came flooding back. I need to be, you know, a little bit more calm. Aaron Ramsdale, 7 out of 10. I give him a 7 because I don't think he had much to do, but what he did well. And sometimes goalkeepers, it's not all about the goalkeepers who save. I think sometimes that's easier for a goalkeeper than a goalkeeper that doesn't actually involve himself in the game as much, and then he has to concentrate on do something. Greg said donation is on behalf of the community. No need to thank me. Hey, big up yourself, man. I have to thank you, and thank you to the community for the support. So I give Ramsdale a 7. Been at the World Cup basically on holiday for 6 weeks, not doing anything. Came back, did well. One criticism. In fact, you know what? I won't say criticism because I think criticism is the wrong word. One, I don't even know the right word to use here, to be honest. But I read a stat, and I don't know if this was right, that Aaron Ramsdale hasn't saved 1 penalty since he's been at Arsenal. If anybody can remember a penalty that he saved, and I've got this wrong, let me know. Maybe he has. But a stat I saw was that he hasn't saved 1 penalty since he's been at Arsenal. Now, I don't know if you can criticise a goalkeeper for that, or whether it's something he needs to work on, you know, looking at the run-up style or something, but I would like to see him save a penalty, you know. Jake said, Curtis, I was at a Birmingham hotel for Christmas. Unai Emery was there, and I got a picture with him. Hey, first of all, good evening. Good evening to Jake Hammond. Big up yourself. Observation. You know, I used to speak to goalkeepers when I played football just to try and get a bit of inside info from them and say, what do you look at in the run-up? You know, is it the way your body shape is? Is it how close your foot is to the ball? What do you look for? So it's not a criticism. It's not a criticism at all, because the advantage is with the attacker, I always say, when you take a penalty. That if you take a great penalty, a goalkeeper won't save it. They only really save a penalty when there's it's not quite in the corner or not quite enough power on it or something. Leno only saved 1 penalty in 3 years. Penalties are hard to save. They are. But it would be nice. It would be nice if we could see him save a penalty. Need Emi Martinez training. Well, let's see. Ben White for me was superb. I'm going to give him an 8.5. This is all off the top of the dome, by the way. I ain't got nothing written down in terms of, but I thought he was fantastic yesterday. I thought he kept Benrahma pretty quiet. And he got forward, he overlapped, he was quality on the ball. I thought it was a top quality performance. I'm giving him an 8.5. Ish says 9. Rory said 8.5. Benny says Temi said Blanco a 9. 8.5 says Rowan. White put in another 8. Joey Essex 8.5. Big up David with the super chat. He said, I was also fuming the first half like most of us. The difference is I'm not on stream. Respect to you and the community. Yeah, you know what? I want some of you to get your cameras on. I want to know your reactions at half time. Now, listen, you know me, people. I'll be honest. As an Arsenal fan, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I celebrate shamelessly. Sometimes, you go over the top. You look back and you think, you know what? I need to be careful with how I criticize players when you're on a public platform. I'm not going to come on here singing and dancing and saying he's the rebirth of Thierry, because he's not. But at the same time, I need to be a bit more calm with it. It was only 1-0 and he hadn't actually played that bad. But it is what it is. Mangi said, you'll never see me on the stream. 8.5 for Benjamin White, people. Let's go to Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney, for me, again, don't take this as a criticism. I think he was probably our worst player yesterday. If we want to make it sound positive, our least good player, maybe. But yeah, he was our worst player. In my opinion, he was getting roasted in the first half, like the dinner that we had on Christmas Day. Jared Bowen had this guy twisting, turning. He got elbowed in his face. He got took off. He wasn't terrible, but for me, I'm going to be honest, I'm giving Tierney a 5. Some of you may feel this is harsh. The reason I'm giving him a 5, I want to give you my explanation. For me, I would say you start at a 6. About a 6. I consider 6 an average performance. I think he played below average. Going forward, he just spammed high crosses. I'm going to be totally honest. It was Tierney last year putting 20 high crosses in, which doesn't work for us. And second of all, I don't know what anyone else thinks. I think Jared Bowen had him on toast in the first half. Escobar says harsh. Give me your explanation. I think he was a 5 yesterday. To me, you start at 6, and I think Jared Bowen was dealing with him. Inject some Christmas spirit. All right, we give him a 5.5. I can't give him no higher than that. I'm sorry. Jared Bowen had him twisting, turning all over the place. I can't. I'm going to speak my truth. Greg gives him a 6.5. He was average, says Lays. Juice said I'd give him a 7. I thought he was decent. I can't. Because to me, I look at West Ham yesterday. Jared Bowen was their best player, in my opinion. So I don't think he was. Darian said I'm being petty. No, I'm being honest. He looked like my turkey that I had on Christmas Day. Got seasoned up and roasted by Jared Bowen. But, I'm here for your opinions. He had an injury come on at least 6. Well, 6 again. He was okay, 6. Jay Muller says 5 is fair. He's normally close to his marker, but he was way off. Cody Mystified said Tierney's still missing. Someone check Bowen's pockets, 4.5. Great service from Kieran Tierney, Curtis. 5 is a bit much. Broad said community, inject some Christmas spirit. Curtis, okay, we'll give him a 5.5. Broads has wanted Jared Bowen at Arsenal for about 2 years. He loves him. Haroon said a 5 is fair. 5 given his standard is Triniguna. People think me giving him a 5 is harsh. I think me giving him a 5 is because I rate him so highly, and I don't think that was at his usual standard. I thought, like somebody just said there, I thought he gave him too much space. People saying I'm moving like the Grinch. No, man, he needed some WD-40, man, twisting and turning a little bit. But I'm giving him a 5.5. The Christmas spirit, you got a 0.5 out of him. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe first half 5, second half 7. All right, we'll go close to the 6. Merry Christmas, Kieran Tierney. That's your present. But I'm going to be honest, it weren't his best performance. Let's go to the 2 centre-backs. I'm going to start with Gabriel. I thought Gabriel was there. Man's saying time out. I can go for 3 minutes if you need me to. I'm going to give an 8 to Gabriel yesterday. I thought Gabriel was our best centre-back of the two. Solid, won his headers. Would have been very frustrated watching that World Cup. And having to sit there as Brazil got knocked out. I thought Gabby was rock solid yesterday. No mistakes. Kept the ball well. Won his headers. I thought he looked really good yesterday, Gabriel. And listen, we heard this. I don't know if anybody saw the report in The Athletic the other day saying that Arsenal were really going for Lisandro in the summer before he went to Manchester United. So hearing that makes you think that, was Arteta trying to replace Gabriel in the summer? Why would he have gone and spent 40, 50 million on Lisandro Martinez to put him on the bench? Maybe he wasn't fully convinced by Gabriel. One thing I've said about Gabriel, cut out the mistakes. You've got an absolute top quality centre-back. Yesterday, I thought he was fantastic. He was aggressive without being clumsy, real leader. And I'm giving him 8 out of 10. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. I think you have to be aggressive. When you're playing against Mikel Antonio, who is very good. So I'm giving him an 8. Let's go with Saliba. Saliba's a tricky one here. I can't lie, I'm trying not to be like the Grinch here. Someone just said, Greg donated $100 and you're moving like the Grinch, said Elliot. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not here to cap. The penalty was a penalty. I'm not one of these that because I'm Arsenal and anything that goes against us is wrong. It's a penalty. He doesn't get tight enough. He allows him to run and he dives in. The contact is minimal, but it's enough to give a penalty. I thought Saliba... maybe I'm looking too much into this. I thought Saliba looked on a bit of a downer yesterday. What does anybody think in the comments? And I'm not just saying this because of the penalty. I just thought his whole demeanour was a little bit down, I think that World Cup's hurt him. I'm going to be totally honest. I think the World Cup's affected him. Number one, he's not fully match sharp. You're right-ish. He's played 20 minutes in 6 weeks being with France. I think going to a World Cup, your first international tournament, and sitting there for 6 weeks playing 20 minutes while every other centre-back gets game time, they get to a final and get beat and you have no involvement in that tournament. He probably didn't even want to collect the trophy or the medal. I've been in that situation. I remember we won a cup final. I think I'm not sure how old I was, on the fringe of the first team. I was about 19, 20. And I came on for 5 minutes at the end of the cup final. We won the cup final. And I felt like I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even want the medal. Was he just rusty because he hasn't really played? Was he on a bit of a downer because he hasn't really been involved for France? I don't think it's anything really to worry about. I think Deschamps damaged his confidence a little bit. I think he came out of that environment at Arsenal where it's like, you're the man. We love you. We're singing this song. We're desperate to give you a new contract. All the players rate you. You're being put on this pedestal as this giant of a centre-back. You've gone to France and Deschamps treating you like the sweet corn on the Nando's dish, little side piece. So, yeah, I'd say a little bit rusty. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I thought he recovered very well after giving away the penalty, which then makes me feel quite harsh on Kieran Tierney, giving him 5.5. I'm going to upgrade Tierney to a 6. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas. Keep the change, you filthy animals. And a Happy New Year. Home Alone settings, people. So we upgrade Tierney to a 6. I feel bad. If he gave away a penalty and I give him 6.5. So yeah, there you go. 6.5. He recovered well, but the penalty was a penalty. And I'm not gonna cap and say it wasn't. A lot of people at the time were saying that Jared Bowen dived. From the second he gave it away, I thought it was a penalty and there was contact. But I don't think anything to worry about. A bit of rustiness. Hopefully it'll be all right by the Danny Welbeck derby on New Year's Eve, people. That pen was soft, but yeah, I agree. Listen, with VAR, you get a penalty for that because as soon as you turn that into slow motion, it's going to be given. As long as they see the contact, they'll give it. Didn't look his usual happy self before and after the match. No, I definitely think they hurt him, the French. Deschamps. Get Zidane in, man, as the manager. He'll look after him. Brilliant New York accent. Not bad, I thought. Probably mid-Brooklyn, bit Brooklyn accent. Harlem. Dipset. Can't wait for the Eddie rating. My mind's already doing front flips about how to approach that one. You know what I mean? Let's go into midfield. Martin Odegaard. I mean, what can I say, people? What can I say? Saucing like HP sauce, mate, all over the place. Like the apple sauce on the side of the turkey dish. This was like Mesut regen. Creating chances. The only thing that... If he'd have scored, I'd have given him a 10, Mustafa. If he'd have scored, I'd have given him a 10. The only reason he didn't get the 10 is the goal. I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Make no mistake, West Ham's midfield is a good midfield. I would say West Ham's midfield is one of the best midfields outside of the top 6. Declan Rice, who starts for England, rated at about, 70, 80, 90 million. Souček, who is a bit of a beast as well. Like, not amazing. And then you've got Paqueta, who I don't really rate Paqueta, but he was starting for Brazil. There's got to be something about him. So this was sublime from Odegaard. And as I said, they scored. They put the low block. In fact, somebody just said the nutmeg. I mean, I'm a skill merchant, so we go to 9.5. I'm sorry, like you Cruyff turned nutmeg in Paqueta. You took away his Brazilian passport and sent him back to Peru. Peru, I'm blue. That's all right. Let me stop singing. But, I said Peru. That song popped into my head, Ed Sheeran. I had to run with it. Just go with me, people. Yeah, 9.5. I'm a skill merchant. I'm sorry. If he'd have scored, it would have been a 10. This was a real skipper's performance. And I thought he was brilliant. The rice was overcooked, man. You know when the rice is overcooked, it's mash up, people. It turned into rice pudding yesterday. So that's another 10 million off Declan Rice's price tag, I can't lie. Yeah, Odegaard, man of the match, by the way. Man of the match, 9.5, proper skipper settings. And now what is happening, says PG. Just run with it, man. We're just running with it here, people. I'm freestyling. Let's talk about the general. Peru Paqueta. We sent him to Peru, man. No disrespect to any Peruvians, by the way. They might have even denied him on entry and sent him somewhere else. Antarctica, send him there. Let's talk about the general. Every midfield, in my opinion, needs a general. Needs a boss. Needs somebody who tells you what you're doing and what happens. Make no mistake about it. You're talking about one of the best DMs in world football right now. Yeah, I said it. And I'm saying it again for those of you that didn't quite hear it. You are talking about one of the best DMs, defensive midfielders, in world football right now. Cooking down the place. He's a beast. When we signed him, I needed to see the passport. I believed he had grandkids. He couldn't run. He was broken down more than an old Vauxhall Astra. Now, bossing it. I think he's playing better now than he played at Atletico. Because he's got more responsibility. At Atletico, he'd win the ball, give it to Koke. Win the ball, give it to Saul. At Arsenal, he can play. He's shooting. He's putting shots in the top corner. His passing's improved. Robbie's spin would be... It was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it. £45 million. Do me a favour. Absolute monster of a player right now. 8 out of 10 for the general. It's a standard performance from him right now. Just an 8. I mean, listen, there are a lot of good DMs, which is why I said one of the best. I don't want anybody jumping on. I mean, you got Casemiro, you got Rodri, you got Fabinho, you got Kimmich. There is some quality DMs out there, but he's in that conversation right now. Couple sloppy passes, but brilliant. Came off, got a massive round of applause at the end. 45 million for him. That release clause must be one of the biggest regrets that Atletico Madrid ever put into that guy's contract. Why did they do that? Absolutely terrible business by them. We just came up and swooped him on deadline day. Omid said he's the best CDM in the world, and that's from a Madrid fan. He was the only player at Atletico what I wanted Real Madrid to spend 100 million plus on. Jeez, I'll take that. They used to nickname him the Octopus. Because they said you couldn't get past him. He was like he had 8 legs, and he's playing like he's got 8 legs at the moment. Anyway, let's go to Granit Xhaka. And I think Granit Xhaka, his improvement in form is partly down to Thomas Partey, because Thomas Partey's given him that license. He said, listen, nothing ain't going past me, so you can run and do what you need to do. And I thought Xhaka was good again. I'll give Xhaka 7.5. He wasn't involved that much yesterday. He played some nice passes. Played the ball to Martinelli for the goal. Nah, do you know what? It's Christmas. Let's just give him an 8. Why not? Let's give him an 8. You know, he got an assist. I thought it was a quieter game for him, but I suppose any game where Granit Xhaka doesn't get booked is a good game, so I'm giving him an 8. And the fact that Broads has just said that Xhaka's his favourite Arsenal player at the moment is like that. That's like breaking news on Sky Sports. So I'm going to just give him an 8 because we're in a good mood. Why not? Saliba is on 4 yellow cards. Franklin said Xhaka didn't notice him. That was a good thing. I mean, he got an assist and didn't get booked. So I think that's always a positive for Granit. You know, no yellow card. And he kept the ball moving. Yeah, it's Christmas, man. Why not? Give him an extra 0.5. Let's talk about the front three. And I'll leave the striker until last because I've got a feeling I might have quite a lot to say. Elliot, I think this is a great way to summarise Xhaka. Xhaka, 8 out of 10. Not as influential, but essential. And I think that's a brilliant way of putting it. Wasn't in the game that much, but it was still a vital role. He's the partner next to Thomas Partey. And like I said, that was a good battle against West Ham's midfield. Rice, Souček and Paqueta is not an easy midfield to deal with. So, yeah, give him an extra 0.5 for no yellow cards, man. He's turned the corner. I'm going to start with Bukayo Saka. You know, sometimes, and I say this, sometimes you get to a point where when you're consistently playing well, Massa didn't F off the fans +1. When you're consistently playing well, sometimes you don't get the credit for your performance because we just expect it. And I think at times that's what happens with Saka. He plays well and he's not the headline maker. We don't even talk about him that much. I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. He ripped Cresswell apart. They doubled up on him for the whole game. They spent the whole game getting Benrahma back to double up on him. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. I'm giving him 9 out of 10. I'm giving him 9 out of 10. Did you, man, see the way he bodied Declan Rice? Shoulder to shoulder. Your ball-playing winger up against your so-called muscle man in midfield. Bang! Jollof rice settings straight on the bicep. 21 years of age. I'm about to say something. Apart from Mo Salah, because Mo Salah, let's not cap, he's made different. This brother scores 20, 30 goals a season. Apart from Mo Salah, I would probably say Saka's the best right winger in the Premier League. If anybody has an objection, put it in the comments. I thought about it. Mahrez doesn't really start for Man City anymore. Kulusevski, I don't think he's as good as Saka. Anthony at Man United, bit of a skill merchant, not as good as Saka. Somebody, if you can find one, feel free to put it. I still have to put Salah there because he's a goal machine. He's built different. I can't even lie. Bernardo, for me, plays more central between the lines. I wouldn't say he's an out-and-out winger. And Mahrez, he's holding bench. Mahrez' ability, yeah, he's mad. But he's holding bench. Almiron's having a great season as well. I'll give him his props. I can't put Mahrez over him because he's holding bench. So, for me, outside of Mo Salah, Bukayo Saka, best right winger in the Premier League right now. Absolutely fantastic. And I think you're talking about a £100 million player here, honestly, with English tax on him as well. Not that I ever want us to sell him. But I think you're looking at a £100 million player in terms of how much he's worth. Kulusevski is good, but not better than Saka. I don't think he is. I definitely think Saka's better than him. Foden and Saka. Again, Foden, not an out-and-out winger, is he? And you saw with Foden, when he played out wide for England, not as good. When he plays for Man City, looks great. Drifts between the lines, a bit more central. Salah, Saka, Almiron, people are saying. Someone just said Son. Son plays left wing for Spurs most of the time. So, Man United fans will say Gakpo. They thought they had that one in the bag, right? Nah, Son plays left wing for Spurs, man. Kulusevski's on the right, came through the middle. He's a left winger. 9 out of 10 for me. I think he's absolutely outstanding, Saka. I love him. We're so lucky to have this guy. And you've got to remember, he's England's right winger. Who was England's best player against France, the previous world champions in the World Cup? He was England's best player. He put that Theo Hernandez on toast in that game. Ripped him apart. Let's go to the other winger. Because, I'm not going to get carried away yet. Because there's a lot of left wingers in the Prem, right? There's a lot. There's a lot of left wingers in the Prem. But let me tell you something. You can start putting this guy in the conversation as well. He's serious. I'm not capping when I say I thought at times in the World Cup he looked better than Vinicius when he was coming on for him. And Vinicius is probably a £120 million player who's a Champions League winner. He's serious. He's a serious baller. More than any new signing, I need to see new contracts getting announced. Gabriel Martinelli is special. Let me tell you this. This boy is special. He's absolutely a special talent. I don't care what anyone says. 7 goal contributions already in 14 games. He scored 6 goals last year in the Prem. He's got 5 already. This ain't no joke this season. We're not here to play games this season, people. If Declan Rice is worth 150, Saka's worth 200. No doubt, bro. No doubt. Gabby's just outstanding in my opinion. I'm sorry. I've hyped this guy up for a long time. We are so lucky right now. We've got 2 of the best wingers in the Premier League in the same team. And they put that fear factor. Sorry, it's 6 goals. That was the 6th yesterday. They put that fear factor in the opposition. And they're young. They can get better and better. Imagine these 2 just growing over the years and just becoming even better. It's crazy how high these 2 can go. He gets a 9 out of 10 for me. I think the goal's absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of Fabianski tax on it. Former Gooner, got done at his near post. Once a Gooner, always a Gooner and all that. But he's done him. He's done him. He's made him think he's going to cross it. He's slapped it near post. He's special. 9 out of 10. Him and Saka are worth 200 million at least between them. I looked at Osman Dembele in the World Cup. Especially in that final. He stunk out the place. 110 million they paid for him from Dortmund. I'm looking at Anthony. Skill merchant at Man United. £90 million. He ain't better than Saka or Martinelli. Jack Grealish. A headband and big coughs. 100 million. He ain't better than Martinelli or Saka. He's $250 million if you want them to. Right, anyway, let's get into the manager's ratings. I'm joking. Let's talk about Eddie. Let's talk about Edward. Come on then, Eddie, lad. Come on, Eddie. Let me give him his flowers. Merry Christmas, Eddie. Merry Christmas. If you're watching, maybe you watched. First Premier League goal of the season. Let me put it into perspective. The goal is outstanding, by the way. The goal is outstanding. The way he rolls that, is it Kera, the brother? He needed a Kera the way he got turned. It was madness. But Eddie, do you know what? I said it during the stream when I'd actually calmed down from the halftime madness that I was involved in. I said, I hope he scores. Because he needs it to boost his confidence. And I think it changed his confidence level. You see the way he played after the goal, it was different. Holding the ball up. And he done his job well. Gareth said, was afraid to watch your watch-along last night as every time we don't perform and shirt rips happen. Big up. Bro, no more shirt rips. It's inflation. We can't rip shirts no more. Them days are long gone. Roll said you ain't winning the league. Fact, let's see, man. We'll see at the end of May. A lot will depend on what we do in January. But 11 goals in 11 starts. He deserves some credit. Thierry did the interview after the game, and when Thierry speaks, I listen. And Thierry said, when he used to watch him play for the under-23s, he said he often watched him and thought, he's not necessarily the main man, but he scores. He scores and he scores all the time coming through the youth level. And Thierry was like, listen, you can't ignore a striker that scores. Now, ultimately, I'm still not fully convinced by him. I'm going to be totally honest. But when he starts, he has a good record. He's starting at the moment, so he deserves some credit. What are we going to give him in terms of rating? Because I'm trying to figure out where I go with this. First half, I still don't think he was great. But second half, the goal was brilliant. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10. I'm going to give him an 8. Merry Christmas. That's your Christmas present. Because you know what? The goal, he's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of pressure, right? He's 23, and I know he's 23, but he's very inexperienced in terms of first-team starts. And a lot of us, well, me, I'll speak for myself, we're putting a lot of pressure on him. We're expecting a lot. And he took that goal like, if you signed a striker for 70 million and you scored that goal, we'd be absolutely lauding him for that finish. So the fact it was Eddie doesn't make it any worse of a finish. The turn is outstanding and the finish is brilliant. So, do you know what? I'm going to try and be more supportive of him. I am. I'm going to try and back him. But let me tell you something. I still want us to sign a striker. I'm not getting away from that. But it's a fantastic finish. When you think Gabriel Jesus hasn't scored in 10 games, Eddie's first Premier League start of the season, he's scored. So I have to give him some credit. Sherman, 9, you owe him an apology. I mean, I don't think it's a 9, but I think the 8 is still very positive. That's a very good rating. If you get 8 out of 10, it's a very good performance. The goal was fantastic. Yeah, when Tierney talks, I listen, Lawrence. You know what I mean? When Tierney talks, we listen. Chelsea game is about to start. Bun that game, Morris. We don't care about that game. Aubameyang, the side piece. I will put it on in 8 minutes as background noise, but keep your focus here, people. This is where we're at. Mikel Arteta. 9 out of 10. Merry Christmas, Mikel. 9 out of 10. I'll tell you why. Because whatever he said at half-time, if he turned on the light bulb, if he played You'll Never Walk Alone music, if he drew a picture of a funny cartoon on the T-shirt, whatever he did, it worked. Because second half, we were looking like title contenders. First half, we looked like Conference League contenders. So I give him 9 out of 10. And big him up. Big him up, that's for sure. Arteta showed them your rant. Maybe. Christmas waffle, 9 out of 10. He must have brought Wenger into the change room. It definitely worked. It definitely worked. Jamal says 10. 10.5. Light bulb merchant. Mikel definitely coming into his own. Definitely. Now I feel like Mikel Arteta is a manager. In the previous years, I looked at him as an assistant manager and a coach trying to become a manager. I think now he's a manager. Yeah, I think he's definitely a manager. He sang Forever Blowing Bubbles. Maybe he got a bubble. Maybe he started blowing bubbles at all the players. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Pretty bubbles in the air. Maybe he started doing that, you know. Football factory settings. Elliot said Arteta 9. The light bulb was lit for the second half. 100%. And this man on the green screen would have been proud of that performance there yesterday. I can't lie. Let's quickly get through the waffle. Quick waffle. 2,500 of you locked in, man. Great support as always. Let's quickly get through. And look at that. How appropriate. Arteta with a big smile on his face. Mikel Arteta was all smiles as he celebrated Boxing Day with a crucial win over West Ham at the Emirates. 40 points from a possible 45. What a start to the season. And the funny thing is, you know, if you really break it down, the 2 games where we dropped points, we could have probably won both of them games as well, because we never should have lost to Man United and we never should have drew to Southampton. But listen, what a start. If you'd have offered every Arsenal fan 40 points from 45, every one of us would have took it. Make sure you hit the likes, people. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. We're nearly at 56k, I believe. So let's get over there before the end of this show. And let's get through this, and then we'll talk transfers, and then I'll, let you run off and watch the Chelsea game. Well, if you even want to watch the Chelsea game. I think somebody just said Aubameyang's on the bench, so it's not going well for him. On the character we showed to come back from a goal down, he said, yeah, for sure, really happy with the performance and the results. Really, the context of the game was there was a goal up after a situation, a very single situation. They attacked an open space where the referee decided to award a pen. You see the reaction of the crowd generating belief, giving a lot of energy, and the team. I'm going to skip through it. I don't want to. When I see them long long answers. I don't want to indulge too much in the waffle. On what tonight's game will do for Nketiah's confidence, he said he's a really confident boy. Hopefully it can give more confidence about what he's capable of doing if he had any doubts. I think his performance was really good. And on top of that, he scored a great goal. He needed it. Every striker needs a goal. But as well, for Eddie and for the team, I think it is really important. That will give him huge amounts of confidence. Make no mistake about that. It will give him huge confidence. Amari Hutchinson's on the bench, former Arsenal player. On Arsene Wenger being in the crowd, which was brilliant to see, he said the players didn't know and we wanted to keep it quiet and allow that space for Arsene here. It was a really special day. Thank you so much to him for coming. Hopefully walking through the building, he's going to feel everything that everybody thinks of him and everything he left here. His presence is something that has to be very attached to his football club. So thank you for doing that because it means a lot to everybody in the club. I'm going to go and speak to him now. Hopefully he'll be waiting for us in the dressing room. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I see the picture that Saka put up with him and Saliba. Get that guy back involved in this football club in some capacity. Ambassador, anything. Get him to the ground every month, once a month, something. It's great seeing him at the football club and build the statue. I want to see the statue of Arsene Wenger. He deserves it. I'm putting on a show for Wenger's return. He said, obviously, it's great and winning means my mood is going to be much better to speak to him. So, yeah, he picked the right moment, a special day, because Boxing Day is a beautiful day to play. I thought the performance was at a level he deserves. Hopefully, he will like it. On whether he was involved in the process, he said, I've been involved in the process, but it's about him, the timing that he needed to make that step. Hopefully, he's going to live here and be willing to spend more time with us and be around us because he's such an influence. For me personally, my career and the way I see the game, but as well for this football club, brilliant. I think they'll get him back on a more regular basis. I think he needed to overcome that first return. And then I think he was I think it was very emotional for him. He left in the wrong way. And now he probably felt a little bit bitter. Big up my brother, Super Kevin Campbell in the comments. Hope you're well, my bro. And he said, Curtis, we need 3 players in the window. Come on, you Gunners. Doing Forest on Sky Sports News tonight. Make sure you keep it locked. Nottingham Forest against Man United. Come on, Forest against United tonight. And big up, Kev. Thank you for the message over Christmas. Hope you had a great Christmas, bro. And let me know when you're free. We got to do a show. I haven't had you on for a few weeks. Good luck on Sky Sports News tonight. Get that money, my friend. Kev says we need 3 players. I mean, I would love us to get 3 players. I can't imagine they'll buy 3 in January, but I would love us to. I personally would like probably a centre mid, a striker, and a winger if I was picking the 3 positions. But will they spend that much money in one window? I said I was hoping to get this show done by 5:30. We've got absolutely no chance. I haven't even started the transfers yet. But big up to Kev in the comments. Appreciate the support as always, bro. On whether he thinks that kind of performance title-winning teams produce. He said, I don't know. Obviously, we overcame a challenge and a difficult moment on top of the injuries we had with Gabby, with Emile Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson and Tomiyasu. Important to remember, Gabriel Jesus, Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson and Tomiyasu, 4 players injured at the moment. And Jesus would be starting, I'm sure. The team still believes and played to the level that they needed. On whether he's allowing players to dream about the title, he said they are allowed to do everything they want. What I tell them is that we have to focus on us. We cannot control what the opponents do and how good they're going to become or how many points they're going to drop. We have to focus on our performance, on what we do every day. And that has brought us here, which is not a coincidence. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing. Exactly. Focus on us. Let the rest worry. Halcyon, said, Big C, thanks for all the great content this year. Enough respect from Zurich, Switzerland. Shout out to the community and your brother, Warren. Blessings to all. Road to 60k. Big up to you, bro. Really appreciate that. And hope everyone has a great new year. Kev said the machete is out as January approaches. Get it out, Kev. I'm telling you. These men have to go and spend some money, man. Brook the next settings. Kroenke and them, man. They got to get their checkbooks out. The title's there in the distance if they want to try and go for it. Here we go. Transfers. On whether there's any truth to our links to Shakhtar Donetsk, Mudryk. He said, you know that I never speak to other players that are not with us. It might be that you have to ask me the question, but we said that we will try to find ways to strengthen the team. We will find the right players, and that's all I can say. He's never going to talk about that. On Mudryk posting that he was watching the game. Oh, man, we're going to talk about him anyway. He said, it's a good thing for England that you don't have many other matches in other countries. We are the only ones playing through Christmas, so hopefully a lot of people watched our game, and we gave them a good show. Yeah, I mean, come on. It wasn't a coincidence, let's be honest. He knew what he was doing. But we're going to talk about him anyway. We're going to talk about Mudryk once we get through this quick bit of waffle. On whether Arsenal is a place that young players aspire to play at, considering the wealth of our young talent, he said, hopefully yes, but they earn the right. It's not something that we have given them. They have earned the right to be part of us and be really important in the team and in the squad. Hopefully we'll have more. On what he made of Odegaard's performance tonight, he said a top performance. You will look at everything that he did with the ball as well as what he did without the ball. The way he guided the team in many moments, the presence he had in the way that we play, he had a real impact. Big up to Martin Odegaard. Not too much waffle either, which is perfect. Just quick waffle, man. So anyway, let's get into the transfers. I'll definitely sort out that show with Kev as well when he's ready. I'll drop him a message. Hopefully we get him on sometime this week or at the start of next week. If not, yeah, a bit of a PR answer, but he was never going to, come on here and say that we've made an offer. Anyway, let me get all that off the screen and let's just focus on transfers. Let's focus on transfers. Who are Arsenal going to sign in this upcoming January transfer window? Now, after seeing Liverpool announce Cody Gakpo, now I'm not saying that I really wanted Gakpo, but what I am saying is that it's kind of got me like, listen, this is a party that I want to be involved in, right? We've got the money, we've got our ID, we've got the right outfit on. There's no reason that we can't get in. I want transfers at Arsenal, people, and I want big transfers. I want transfers that give us an opportunity to run Manchester City all the way till the end of May. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If we don't win this title and we throw everything at it, I can accept that. Because Manchester City are not a joke. They're not just going to roll over and hand us the title. But I expect to see the kind of ambition from the Kroenkes that says we do want to try and win this title and we do believe that we can win it. So let's see who we're going to get. Kev said Arsenal need to get serious and brook the neck of the chasers, spend the bread. Listen, Pep needs the Champions League. He said it in the interview. It's the most important trophy for him to win. It's the one that owners want. People will always ask questions of Pep. Yeah, Pep, you're one of the greatest managers ever, but you only won the Champions League with prime Lionel Messi. You've spent $1 billion and haven't won it. We've got to get serious. Now, Fabrizio tweeted, as we were live yesterday, Arsenal have now submitted a bid to sign McAllister and Mudryk. Understand it's 40 million euros plus 20 in add-ons. Shakhtar want way more than this to sell Mudryk. Talks will take place with the player's agent to discuss about the deal. No issues on personal terms. This was the first bit that we heard yesterday. Didn't really say whether the offer had been rejected or accepted or what the details were around the offer and whether it was going to happen. Now, Ben Jacobs, fan and friend of the channel, of course, hopefully we'll get him on, has said Arsenal's opening offer for Mudryk is short of Shakhtar's expectations, told it's more of a marker than a bid they expect to get accepted. High confidence a deal will be done, but all about structure. Arsenal's bid of 40 plus 25 in add-ons, Shakhtar want a higher base fee. And the reports coming out of Ukraine are that the offer is not far away from an offer that will be accepted. Apparently, they have rejected it because they're not happy with the structure of the deal and the amount. But apparently the amount they're saying is not far away from what they are prepared to accept. But they want more money up front. They don't want £20 million or 25 million euros in add-ons. They want a smaller amount in add-ons and a bigger amount in what's straight up front. Now, if Arsenal want this guy, and as I've said before, I can't say how good this guy is because I haven't seen enough of him. He looks exciting. He looks quick. He scores goals. If they've identified him as the one they want, then get it done. Don't mess about. Don't mess around with silly offers. Get the deal done. This guy is desperate to join Arsenal. So if this is the guy you want, get him. But the question is, how much do they pay for him? How much is he worth? You're talking about possibly getting close to that Nicolas Pepe amount of money, which is, a transfer record. There is an element of risk. He's still young. He's coming from the Ukrainian league. Is he the answer? But if they want him and they've identified him, you know that the Kroenkes don't spend money easily in a January transfer window. So if they think he's that guy, then get it done. I'm in full support of it if you think he's that guy. Southern Gooner said, there is no excuse this window. We have to lay down a marker and move with gusto. No 11th hour madness. Get down early and build on this lead 100%. Kev said 50 million, 10 million in add-ons. Sort it out. Exactly. Get it done. You've seen in the past, Shakhtar will sell their players when the money's right. Over the years, they've sold loads of players. Brazilian players, players from all over. Gunnarola said João Felix needed at the carpet at all costs. Come on, you Gunners. What do you think about João Felix, people? Dwayne Ellington, the twerking Mudryk is doing is enough for me. Bring him. Come, I'm shameless. I hear you. The fact he wants to come to the club so much makes me almost want us to sign him even more, because I'm just like, I don't think I've ever seen a player want to play for Arsenal this much. As I said, it's amazing what happens when you're playing good football and you're top of the league. Players want to sign for you. Players want to... They'll put transfer requests in to leave their club. They'll do all sorts to come and join you. We didn't see this last year with Vlahovic when they was ignoring our phone calls and, making jokes about us because we were 5th, 6th in the league and the Aubameyang madness was going off. No more jokes. No more side piece. We're the main dish right now, people. We're not the side, we're not the side dish. So it's a sign of how much progress has been made by the football club. And as I said, if Edu and Arteta have identified this guy and they think he can take us to the next level, get the deal done, pay the money and bring him to the carpet and let's get cooking. But I want more than one signing. I'm with Kev, 2 free signings for me if we're really going to push Man City. We need to make signings that Pep Guardiola says, do you know what? That could be a game changer. Imagine if Smith Rowe's back, Jesus is back, Martinelli, Saka, Mudryk, Odegaard, Partey, another centre mid. They're the kind of levels that we need to be going for, people. So that's the second part. And obviously the third part of the Mudryk situation was this. That was just unbelievable yesterday. Mudryk on his Instagram account during the game, on Instagram posted that he was watching Arsenal, which was just unbelievable. The guy put a video up, knowing that an offer's just been made by Arsenal, and he puts a video up of him watching Arsenal on his tablet on some dodgy stream as well. IPTV settings, Satanta Sports. If he comes to Arsenal, I think we're going to have to get him a few subscriptions, people. Get his Sky bill sorted out. But listen, he's desperate to join the football club. Like I said, I haven't seen anyone twerk like this since Beyonce and Destiny's Child, I'm a Survivor video, you know what I mean? So, get this guy to the carpet. Tom said, on a serious note, why aren't we going for Zaha? Listen, Tom, you know me. Anyone who watches this channel, I've been Wilfred Zaha FC for about 5 years saying, get Zaha to Arsenal. I think the ship has sailed. I don't think Arteta is looking for somebody of that profile. 30 years of age, big wages. He's going to want to play. He's not going to be prepared to sit on the bench and be rotated. I think Zaha FC dream has gone. I think we needed to sign him when we signed Pepe. And, we went for the Klarna layaway deal rather than pay the money up front. Some people say, you buy cheap, you buy twice. We should have paid the bigger money and got Zaha back then. So I think Zaha FC is over for Arsenal. Although, interestingly enough, he'll be a free agent in the summer. So you never know. But, yeah, I don't see it happening. Kev said Zinni has done his work. I think Zinni has done what Van Dijk has done to Gakpo. It's clear that Van Dijk has convinced Gakpo to go to Liverpool ahead of Man United. And I think Zinchenko has done the same. He's the captain of Ukraine. Clearly somebody that Mudryk will look up to and respect in the Ukraine national team. He would have said, listen, it's brilliant over here. Arteta's brilliant with young players. The fast football will suit you. London's a very easy place to adapt to. It's perfect for him. He's going to be with his national team captain. For me, the deal's going to happen. I'm going to stick my neck on the line here and say this deal's going to happen, because I think, and somebody's just put that in the comments, apologies. BX Gunner said it. He said, Curtis, for me, it's disrespectful to his club and fans to act this way. It shows Mudryk has no class. Where I'm going to defend him a little bit here, if you're a Shakhtar Donetsk fan, you're going to be very unhappy to see this, because you know he's not just casually watching Arsenal. He's basically showing you the club that he's probably going to sign for. I think his agent has told him this deal is going to happen. It's a matter of if. It's a matter of when, not if. So I think the deal's going to happen. I don't think he's doing all this and then the deal's going to collapse and he ends up at Shakhtar, because it is disrespectful, I can't lie. And I believe, as Roscoe said, I think their season has finished and restarts again in March. But I think he'll be an Arsenal player by the end of the window. I would like to see this deal get done by January the 1st. I got to be honest. We got big games in January. Manchester United at home. Newcastle at home. Tottenham away. We got big games. Get this deal done. And just the final part of this deal before we move on from Mudryk is Football Insider are saying that Arsenal are increasingly confident of signing Shakhtar Donetsk sensation Mykhailo Mudryk, and a deal could be finalised by the end of the week. Sources have told Football Insider. I mean, listen, it's not an amazing source, but sometimes they have got it right, and they're saying by the end of the week. I would imagine bid number one, reject, negotiate, structure the deal a little bit better, pay a bit more up front, lift the overall value by maybe 5 million. I think Mudryk will be an Arsenal player the first week of January. I'm saying it. I think he will be an Arsenal player not long after the start of the new year. I think they're trying to get this deal done quickly. He's not in season for them. I think once this deal is agreed between the clubs, it will be done quickly. They've probably already verbally agreed on the contract. As I said, I think he earns £28,000 a week for Shakhtar Donetsk. That's pocket change for Arsenal. Let's be real. That's pocket change. We got Cedric on 70 grand a week. So we can easily drop 70 grand a week on Mudryk. You're talking nearly triple the man's wages or over double. So I think he'll be done. And listen, I called him the car park Neymar when we first got linked with him. And I said I'd hardly ever heard of him. But shamelessly, if we sign him, I'm going to hype him up like we've signed the new Neymar. Never mind the car park Neymar. So listen, hopefully he's on the way. This needs to be the start of the January window, not the end of it. Unleash the Mudman in Jan. I'm telling you, the Mudman. Listen, he looks exciting and he looks quick. And we need options. As you've seen with Liverpool, they didn't even really need a winger. And they've just bought a winger because you need options off the bench, especially when you're in Europe as well. So, yeah, man, let's get this deal done. And I think he'll be done. He clearly does love Arsenal. And it's nice to see. It is definitely nice to see players desperate to join us rather than, us running around for players that don't really want to join us and, acting like we're doing them a favour rather than, the privilege of them joining Arsenal, which it should be. I've got a couple of rumours to talk about and I want to know your opinion on these before we end the show. Obviously, I know that Chelsea's on, although bun Chelsea anyway, but I want to know your thoughts on this one. And that is Adrian Rabiot. A report coming off a Sport Witness saying that Arsenal are hoping to sign Adrian Rabiot in the January transfer window. The French midfielder will soon enter the last 6 months of his contract at Juventus. Now, reports coming out are that Rabiot is not going to renew his contract and Juventus want to sell him in January rather than letting him go for free in the summer. By the way, people, Chelsea have just scored. Shai Havertz has bagged for Chelsea, so they're winning 1-0 against Bournemouth. I had very little hope Bournemouth were going to do anything. Rabiot, for me, is an interesting one. I've never been the biggest fan of Rabiot. His lack of mobility worries me a little bit. He did have a decent World Cup. I definitely think he had a good World Cup for France. Apparently, the reason he never signed for Manchester United in the summer was the huge wage demands. Man United have got I think Man United are the biggest payers of wages in the entire league. So if Man United are walking away from it, why would we go and give this guy 200 grand a week? For me, I think it's cap. I think it's paper talk. I don't want him, to be honest. His mum's his agent, and apparently she's a big problem to deal with. But we have to report the news just in case it happens. Harry said it's not our money. He doesn't mind. He is a bit old for the mould. Listen, I don't think age is a big problem. He's only 27. I just don't think he's the answer. I really don't. Kev said it's not happening. If Kev says it, we'll go along with it. But we just, we have to report it in case it happens, people. And I do think midfield is somewhere that we do need to address, because as good as Thomas Partey is right now, we need a sufficient backup for him. El Neni is a hard worker, but he's nowhere near the level of Partey, Temp said, oh no, please, no Rabiot, Curtis. The locker room is sacred and this drama cream will destroy it. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully it does not happen. Let's move on to another midfielder that we are being linked with again. And that is Alexis McAllister from Brighton. World Cup winner for Argentina. Had a very good World Cup. According to reports, Chelsea, Arsenal and Atletico Madrid are in for McAllister in that order. According to reports coming out of Argentina, they're saying that Chelsea are favourites to get him due to his connection to Graham Potter, the former Brighton manager. Also due to the fact that Kante is apparently close to joining Barcelona for the summer on a free transfer. And they want a replacement for him at Chelsea. McAllister obviously had a really good World Cup. The problem with this, for me, has always been apparently Brighton want £50 million for him. Is he worth £50 million on the back of a good World Cup? Don't get me wrong, he was having a good season for Brighton in the Premier League. If we signed him, I do think he's a good player. Can kind of play the 6 and the 8 role as well. Saw the assist that he got for Di Maria in the World Cup final. I think he's a good player. I'm just not sure if he's £50 million. But like somebody said there, £50 million for Ben White, and look how that's turned out. So I think he's a good player. I think there's a little bit of World Cup, Messi tax attached to this, If he hadn't won the World Cup with Argentina, this could be 35, 40 million. He's won the World Cup. He's got pictures with Messi. It's going to cost you 50 million. I do like him. I do like him as a player. What I do like about him, just in case we do sign him, and I don't want to sound like I was completely disrespecting him, I like his mobility. And I think mobility is very important in the Premier League in midfield now. He can get about the pitch, and he covers a lot of ground. He's done well in the Premier League. And listen, I think he's a good player. I agree with Kev. I think Chelsea are big favourites. It could be a straight replacement there for N'Golo Kante, although not the same role. And obviously his connections to Graham Potter are going to make that probably more of an easier deal for them to get done than us. But if we did get that one done, I would be positive about that one. I think he's a good player, but I definitely think that Arsenal need to go and get a central midfield player in as well, because the way that Thomas Partey is playing at the moment concerns me that if he wasn't there, he's going to leave a big hole in that midfield if he wasn't available. So we'll have to see with that one, people. And finally, one more that I want to talk about, and this one is causing a lot of excitement if it does happen, of course, in terms of attacking players, and that is Portuguese international João Felix. Now, the interesting thing with this, what I'm trying to figure out is, would Arsenal sign João Felix and Mudryk? Would they sign both? Would they take him on loan and take Mudryk on a permanent. That would be an unbelievable window if we could get 2 attacking players in. The issue with this deal seems to be that they're not prepared to put an option to buy in the contract, which makes no sense, right? Because Atletico Madrid, according to reports, won £8 million for the loan, and they want all of his £250,000 a week wages. So you're looking at £13 million, 13 million to take him on loan from January till the end of May. Now, if you're paying that kind of money, you're going to want an option to buy him at the end of it. Of course, if he does brilliant, you don't want to have to renegotiate. You're going to want to buy him. Now, Fabrizio Romano says George Mendes has been in talks with Arsenal and Manchester United for João Felix. There will be talks this week in order to find a solution for the Portuguese international. He also went on to say that Chelsea are very interested as they feel they need a striker as well. The report, I've read the whole report, says that apparently there's been a full breakdown in communication between João Felix and Diego Simeone. Simeone is hoping they find a solution at the start of January. Mendes is keen for him to leave at the very start of January, and it's believed he will move to the Premier League. Now, for me, if Arsenal really want to go crazy in this window, you go and get Mudryk, right? You pay your 50 million with maybe 10, 15 million in add-ons, right? There's your first piece of the jigsaw. Your winger, pace, exciting, goals, bang. There's number one. Part two, you go and get João Felix on loan with an option to buy. The wages will be expensive, but you get him in. It's a great solution, in my opinion, to Gabriel Jesus. Now, some people saying he ain't that prolific, and I hear you. But let's be real, Gabriel Jesus ain't that prolific. And we were top of the league. Maybe the majority of our goals will come from the wingers as well as the striker. If you get Mudryk, you get Felix, and you get a midfielder, that is like a dream January transfer window as an Arsenal fan. That is showing man like Pep that we are serious if you make signings of that level. Man United fans have woke up desperate this morning because they can't believe that Gakpo has ended up at Liverpool. This is the kind of signing we should be moving for. 8 million loan fee, 5 million wages, and you try and get an option at around 60, 65, 70 million in the summer. I'm telling you now, people would hate us. And you know they hate at Arsenal anyway. They go mad when we celebrate goals. That would be what you call a statement of intent if we did that. Chelsea have gone 2-0 up, by the way. Mason Mount, good finish to be fair. Little curler into the far bottom corner. I never had any doubt that Bournemouth were not going to do anything in this game. I think this will end up 3 or 4-0. But João Felix looks as if he's on his way to the Premier League. George Mendes has a very good relationship with Edu, but has done a lot of deals with Manchester United before. But the interesting thing is, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo is his client, and the way Ronaldo's just been dismissed, would that bother him? Probably not as the agent. He'll just want the money. Chris said, no, Curtis, I'm glad we didn't get Gakpo. Don't rate him. I didn't really understand the Manchester United meltdowns over Gakpo. You've just let Ronaldo go. You're short of a striker. Gakpo isn't an out-and-out striker. So why the meltdowns that you didn't get him? You know, he's a winger. Yeah, he can play up front, but I think United need a specialist. They need an out-and-out striker. So I think they will buy someone. Probably Depay, possibly. I know they're being linked with him now. But yeah, João Felix, for me, I just think if you sign Mudryk and João Felix, man, you are absolutely letting people know that you're serious. And that's all I've ever wanted to see from the Kroenkes. Just show people that you're serious. And a lot of the times they don't. And that's the thing that really irritates me with the Kroenkes. But that deal would be absolutely brilliant if that deal gets done. Let me just finish with... It wouldn't be an Arsenal transfer show without talking about Youri Tielemans. And I saw Kev put a comment in about Tielemans as well. Again, another report coming out of Belgium. Arsenal and Youri Tielemans are in negotiations, but the deal is not done yet. At the moment, Arsenal are the closest team to signing and agreeing a deal for Tielemans. I mean, water is wet, you know. it's recycled information. We've been talking about Yuri Tielemans for how long? My opinion of Yuri Tielemans, and I said this the other day, I think Arsenal will try and sign him in the summer on a free. I'm not sure if Arsenal are that convinced by him. And I think the problem that Arsenal have got now, he's had a poor season at Leicester and he had a poor World Cup. So any club that tries to buy him now, I would go in there and offer 10, 12 million. I say, you're lucky to get that for him because he's going on a free in June. So Leicester may turn around and go, you know what? You're in a relegation battle. He's one of your best players. What's the point taking 10 million for him? You might as well keep him till the end of the season. Try and keep your place in the Premier League and just let him go for free. I've got to be honest. My ratings of Tielemans have dropped considerably this season. In the summer, I really wanted him. Now I'm kind of like, if we can get him on a free, maybe I'd take him. But I'm not kicking down doors to get him. But as I've said, the only thing I will say in his defence, he's playing in a team that's in the bottom three and struggling. If he was playing for Arsenal, he might look considerably better. But honestly, I would offer them a Tesco meal deal for him in January. I'd say I'll wait. I'll come back and get him in June for nothing. They ain't getting no considerable amount of money out of me for him. You know, I told you, the player we should have signed that was on the pitch yesterday was Bruno Guimaraes, because he was running that midfield ragged yesterday against Leicester. So, yeah, I think we should have got him. But anyway, Tielemans as a squad player on a free in the summer. I'll be surprised if we sign him in January. Without the crisp, yeah, they can't even get the crisp. Just get the Lucozade Sport and the dry sandwich. That's all they're getting for Tielemans, people. People, thank you very much for tuning in. 2,500 of you in the chat. Absolutely brilliant show. Big up to Kev for the support in the comments, as always. Drop me a message. Let me know when you're free. We'll get a show done. I'll leave you all to watch the Chelsea game and obviously Man United against Forest later on. I will be back on tomorrow as long as there's some news, or we may do... What is it? It's Leeds Man City tomorrow. We may do that, but we'll probably do a show in the day anyway. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. Arsenal, top of the league. Can we win that title, people? Can we do what Arsene Wenger's doing here and show them armpits and lift that trophy? Obviously, the trophy won't be gold, but we'll take the silver one with the gold crown. Couple of signings and we've got a chance, but it's going to be difficult. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoying your day, and I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.